Hello everyone. In this one, we're going to be talking about something that will always haunt the narcissist. It seems like nothing bothers, as though they haven't got anything to worry about. And if any time it seems like they're stressing out about something, it's always because of something to do with you. As though you were the problem, you were at fault. And that's how they make it seem. They play the victim. They play the victim with everyone who they did wrong. Everyone who they did things to. Well, actually, no. What's stressing them out, what's playing on their minds, is more to do with the things that they have done to people. Because they do know that they have done wrong. They know that they have been manipulating and abusing people, harming them. They know that they have done some horrible things to you. They know that. And it plays on their minds. It causes them anxiety. It stresses them out to where they can't even regulate their own emotions. Because deep down they feel like they're a bad person. But when you pressure them, when you try to hold them accountable, what happens? It causes a narcissistic injury, and then they rage at you. Because you're bringing it up to the surface. You're triggering them to reflect on how, yes, they are at fault. Yes, they have done some horrible things to you and people before you as well. It triggers them to reflect on that. But while they've got you around, they like to devalue you. They like to put you down, beneath them, confusing you, getting you to doubt yourself, creating all of this chaos and drama in the external environment, because there's so much chaos inside their own minds. So in order for them to stabilize themselves, they have to destabilize you. They have to cause disruption in the external environment so that they can feel comfortable in their own skin. Because then it validates the false self that something is wrong outside of them. So in fact, there's nothing wrong with them. They're perfect. They're faultless. They're flawless. There's nothing wrong with them. But in order for them to feel that way, they've got to have sources of supply. They've got to have someone who they can devalue and put down, or at the very least, someone who they can idealize and love bomb. They've got to have people like that around them to distract themselves. Because that's what stabilizes them. That's what keeps them sane. And that's what we were to the narcissist. That's what we were for them. We were their sources of supply. We stabilized them. We made them feel secure. Even after all of these horrible things that they have done to you and people before you, as a source of supply, we distracted them. We validated their false self. We made them feel better about themselves. They got to feel like they're perfect. They're in a perfect union with us. But then they began to feel insecure, and then they had to devalue us. They had to put us down. And by doing that, it also made them feel perfect. Because then anything that's wrong with them, they could just project it onto us. They could shift the blame onto you and make you feel like you're at fault. They could shame you, deflect their shame onto you. So this is what they do to avoid reflecting on the shame. This is what they do to avoid having to feel those feelings and to accept that guests are a bad person as a result of the things that they have done to people. Because they know what they do. They know that they have been manipulating people, triangulating them with other people. Smear campaigns, they know they've been doing all of that. And they know that that makes them a bad person. They know that means that there is something seriously wrong with them. They know that that means that they're not deserving of anything. They're not deserving of any supply from you. They don't even deserve to be anywhere near you. And this is why they hate it when you begin to wake up. When you begin to hold them accountable, they can't stand it because deep down they know they do not deserve you. They do not deserve to be anywhere near you. And yet they have this sense of arrogance and entitlement as if you owe them the. And this is why they're so arrogant. This is why they have such a strong sense. Because deep down they're very insecure. They know the truth. Nothing from you. And this is why they have to live in denial. They have to live in this fantasy world. They have to distract themselves constantly. They can never go within. They've got to have supply. They've got to have someone to distract them from their own minds. Because there's so much inner turmoil. Everything that has accumulated, all of these things that they have done to people, to accept, things that they do not want to be held accountable for, things that they blamed other people for, when actually no, it was their fault. And this is why they like to keep us around. This is why they like to manipulate, devalue, and gaslight us, so that they can continue using us as sources of supply. If this is resonating with you so far, do give it a thumbs up down below. Helps the YouTube algorithm to get this message out there. Let's make sure that as many people as possible see this video. So what really haunts them is when you leave. When the scapegoat, their victim, their target, leaves them. The person that they were devaluing, gaslighting, dumping all of this negativity onto, blaming for everything. When that person leaves, what is a narcissist supposed to do? How can they continue to live in denial and idealize them, view them as perfect? They've got to have someone to blame. They've got to have a contrast, because they have a black-white mentality as a result of their arrested emotional development. So they see people as all good or all bad, right or wrong, perfect or flawed. And for them to view themselves as perfect and right and good, they've got to have someone to blame. They've got to have some their shame onto. So what typically happens, before they imply, if they can find one, but then it's very unlikely that they can replace that easily. So typically, they end up just choosing one of their own enablers or flying monkeys. They end up becoming their sources of supply. But you may not see that, because it's likely that they don't want you to know that they're turning against each other. And this is how you may notice that they always create this narrative where it's like they're all good friends, they're all on good terms together, there's nothing wrong going on with them. They always try to make it seem that way, because really it's actually the opposite. And many of them, they dump their shame onto you as a collective, as a result of their collective insecurities that none of them want to deal with. You get smeared. And this just enables them to live in denial. It enables them to deflect, to never confront the truth. But then when you leave, it creates a lot of chaos for them. It causes a lot of problems. Because also it's like they had already blamed you. They had already scapegoated you. And then maybe the other enablers, the flying monkeys, start to see that now they're scapegoating someone else. They're targeting another person when they're the common denominator. So it's like, all right, first of all, they had a problem with you, but now they've got a problem with someone else. Now they're doing those same things with someone else. And maybe that person can't take it anymore as well, and then they decide to leave. So it creates a pattern. And people start to notice, start to see, hold on a minute. This new person is beginning to react a very similar way to the last person who was with the narcissist. They're beginning to react in that way as well. They're starting to get very angry. They're starting to get very impatient. So how is that possible if nothing is wrong with a narcissist? And people may start to see it. They may start to realize that maybe it wasn't you. That maybe you weren't at fault after all. People start to figure this out. Diminishes their supply, their enablers, their flying monkeys. Because now people are beginning to understand what the narcissist is doing in order to uphold their grandiose false image. So it begins to look really bad on them, and then they can't get that same supply. And narcissists will just implode. They will experience a narcissistic collapse because they cannot survive without supply. So yeah, it creates a lot of problems for them. This is just talking about studies show that bullies are at 18 times more risk of developing a psychiatric condition than their own victims. So just imagine the damage that they are inflicting upon themselves every time that they harm you, every time that they abuse you. Because even if I harmed them twice as much, that would be a lot. But no, 10 to 25 times more. So it's very damaging for them. But this is what they have to go through in order to feed their ego and uphold their grandiose false image. This is what they have to do. This is all that they can do. Because underneath that false self is a fragmented and development. And some narcissists may have no self at all. In fact, many of them may have no self at all. There may be nothing left of them. And I know the signal may not be too good in here. Although it is quite quiet in there. So I did walk 20 minutes to a park just down there earlier today. Unfortunately, the signal was really bad there as well. So it's very difficult to find a good signal again. I'm doing the best that I can. But yeah, the narcissist will be haunted by the things that they did to you, because they know what they have done wrong. At some level they do know. That's why they cover it up. That's why they hide it. That's why when you confront them, when you try to hold them accountable, what do? They get very angry. It causes a narcissistic injury. They rage at you. They lash out at you. Because deep down they know that they are abusive. That they are a bad person. And yet they just don't want to accept it. They want to continue to live in denial. They want to evade accountability for their actions. They do not want to accept themselves. And that's how some of you, it may not be that you left the narcissist, it may be that they discarded you. What you got to understand with that, they get involved with you. What do? They manipulate you, deceive you, abuse you. They do all of these horrible things to you. And it benefits them in some way, it gives them supply. But then it also, they're just looking at you, it triggers them. It hurts. Just looking at you, they see all of the things that they've done to you. All of the pain that they have caused. It's kind of like if you imagine a narcissist physically assaulted someone. They may not want to see that person ever again, because every time they look at them, they may see that bruise on them, and it may remind them that they did that to that person. They are horrible, they are wicked, and they do not want to be reminded of that. They would rather live in denial. They would rather live in their fantasy world. So that's why they'll just run off. You won't see them. They will discard you. Not because they don't like you, not because they don't need you, not because they don't want you, but because they are running from a reflection of themselves that they do not like. All of the things in order to keep you stuck in the relationship, in order to get supply. That was what they had to do to keep you stuck. It was what they had to do to get what they wanted to get out of you. So yeah, make no mistake. These narcissists will be haunted by their actions. They will be haunted by it for a very long time. Potentially for the rest of their lives. It will always play on their minds. And they will never be able to forget it. It will always be there. Their inner critic, their inner dialogue. Reminding them that they're no good. Reminding them that they're worthless, inadequate. They're horrible people. And of course they are. Just remember all of the horrible things that they have done to you. And even those things that they have done to you. What you think you know about them, that may just have been the tip of the iceberg. They don't reveal everything to you. They try to hide as much as they can. There may be a lot of things that you don't know about them. And then there's all of the things that they have done to people before you. Things that you may never know. Things that you may never find out. So how can a person like that they love their false self, love everything they're not, everything they wish they could be. Narcissists hate themselves. They are very insecure. And that's why they don't want to be around anyone who reminds them of their insecurities. And that's what you do to them. Every time they get around you, every time they have to see you, and maybe you're still going through it, maybe you're still suffering, they have to be reminded that they caused that. That's why many of them will ghost you, give it a silent treatment, avoid you, especially when you start confronting them or holding them accountable. But if they can use it to further shame you, blame you, and humiliate you, then they will stick around. They will stick around if they're able to do that. Because then they see it as a source of power. Then they're still able to get supply. But yeah, even if you don't see them again, you would know that they are being haunted by their own actions, by the horrible things that they did to you and to people before you. And with your absence, it just makes it even worse. At least when you're there, they've got you to blame, they've got you to shame and humiliate. They can just point the finger at you. They could just say that it was all your fault. And because you're a nice, kind person, you're empathic, you're very agreeable, you would just take it on, you would just say, yeah, okay, maybe it was my fault. They can get away with guilt tripping you. But how are they supposed to do that when you're not even there? How are they supposed to do that then? They can't. But that they have to settle for now. And this is what many of them do when they feel it creeping up on them, when they feel like they're being haunted by their actions, by the things that they did to you in the past. They just start gossiping about you. They try to get other people to validate it, to believe in it, to believe their side of the story, their false reality. They enforce their enablers and flying monkeys. They spread a different version of events, a different narrative. And they get everyone else to agree with it and believe in it, because then it makes it more believable for them. And that's what they have to do now, because they can't get you to believe in it. They've already done so much to you. They've already burnt the bridge. So now they've got to go off and try and convince everyone else. But it's not the same. And then also to see you moving on, to see you living your life, makes them miserable. Because if you were such a do better without them, how could you be happy? And they know that. And this is why many of them, they will come back and try to sabotage you. And they may even use their enablers of flying monkeys to attack you as well, to support their false narrative, to support what they want to believe in, even though what they believe in is not the truth. For long. They have to keep doing things to you again and again. They have to keep spreading lies and rumors about you. They have to keep trying to sabotage you, keep keeping you down, to support this false narrative, this false reality that isn't even true. But this is what they have to do. Because they can't accept that it is them. They can't accept that it is their fault. And this is just what they do. They have to live in denial. They have to gaslight themselves. And they have to gaslight everyone else as well. They are like the things that they did. And with their absence, they're constantly reminded of it. This is why their actions get more extreme. This is why they get worse. This is why they go off and run smear campaigns against you. This is why they sabotage you, because the real beliefs about themselves keep surfacing. They keep being reminded of it. Their inner critic, their inner dialogue. How can they recognize what is not even true? And this is why they have to manipulate you, gaslight you, manipulate and gaslight as many people as they possibly can to get them to believe this alternate version of events when nothing was wrong with them, where they were perfect, faultless, flawless, where they never intended to harm you, and all they were, you were causing all sorts of disruption for them. That's what they tell people. That's what they want people to think. And this is what they do. This is what they have to do now. They have to go around telling lies, rumours, stories about you to anyone who will listen, so that it supports their false narrative, so that it helps them to believe their own lies. But it will always haunt them. It will always haunt them. Their actions, the things that they did to you, the things that they tried to make you believe that they got away with. They didn't get away with it. It still haunted them, it's still in their minds, it still affected them, and it'll do about it. This causes them to rage. It causes them to become very abusive and very unpredictable, to where you never know what they might do next. So this is why you've got to be very careful, because you don't know what they might do to you. Set strong boundaries, get a support network. Be very cautious around these types of people, because they will be seeking vengeance because of what you saw wrong in them, because you saw the truth, because you held them accountable, and because of their own inner critic, their inner dialogue, which they try to fight it, but it's actually telling them the truth. So yeah, they will always be haunted by their actions. They will especially be haunted by your absence when you're not, because then they haven't got you there for them to blame, to deflect the shame onto you. Give it a thumbs up if you find it helpful so far. I know there's really bad signal around here in this area. YouTube hasn't been recommending my last two videos and also this video as well. I'm not earning any revenue from these videos anyway. Of course, I always give vital information in every one. So I would like these videos to get out to as many people as they possibly can. So yeah, give it a thumbs up. Let's get it out there. I don't know why the signal is so bad though. I've got full bars on my phone, and also it says 5G. But also I had issues here with my credit card as well. I couldn't even order food. Again, let me know what you think about what I've said in the live chats. Let me know if you've got any questions, or I'll read them out and respond to them. Standing on the balcony here. Signal is definitely an issue in foreign countries. If you're a YouTuber, a streamer, I don't really know a way around it. I mean, even using the hotel Wi-Fi, it's actually even slower. And all earlier. I couldn't even get the video to go live. That's how bad the signal was. But I will be going somewhere else within the next few days. So hopefully the signal will be better there. Billy Small Kajo says your existence reminds them what a POS they are, not your fault. That's exactly right. That's what it is. And I know it sounds funny, but even when we explore the deeper psychology of it, that's exactly what it is. Your existence makes them feel like a liar, a fraudster, a con artist, garbage. This worthless. Because you're real, you're genuine, you're authentic, you do the best you can, and you don't just say that you do, you actually do it. You actually try, you put in the work, you put in the effort. You don't make up excuses. You're disciplined. And you do things the right way, honestly, authentically. And they hate you for that. Yes. Your existence reminds them what a POS they are. And that is not your fault. The journey says insecure losers. Yes, they are very insecure. The journey says they are the perfect examples of once a loser, always a loser. They never get themselves out of it, they just blame someone else. They don't accept that they are losers. When you know that's exactly what you have to do in order to grow, in order to win for real. You have to look in the mirror and accept, right, maybe I'm a loser. Maybe I'm not a winner yet. Maybe I can do more. Maybe I can be better. But that's what I had to do. When I first started my YouTube, I had to accept that I'm a beginner. I'm just starting out. I don't really know too much about this disorder. Of course, now I do, because I've been doing this for nearly 7 years now, research about it. But yeah, at the beginning, you've got to accept that you're a beginner. And narcissists, they're that right now. They're everything they need to be. They know everything they need to know. They've got it all figured out. They're better than you. Just because they think they are in their minds. They're superior. They're greater. They're better. Just because of what they think. They're delusional. Journey says, I get furious. Society allows such monsters to even live and exist. That's it. I mean, fortunately, what we have to accept is that many people in positions of power, politicians, governments, are narcissistic as well. And they don't really care about us. They only care about themselves, their own power, their own profit. Classy Cat says, I was hooking him like a drug. I felt like he put a spell on me. I never thought I would set myself free. Yeah, that's the trauma bond. They manipulate you, they coerce you, they do whatever they have to do to put you in a trance, to put you under a spell. Because they know they're not going to get anywhere with you without manipulating and deceiving you, without wearing a mask, without getting you to live in their shared fantasy. Ellie Wen says, been listening to deep, well-written true crime. Very helpful, showing how dark triad operates. Yes, that's very good to watch the true crimes and the interrogations on YouTube. With learning about Sabrina Harrington says, I'm thinking how he could just forget me after living together for 5 years. Oh, they can forget you so easily. They can just disappear like you never existed, like you never meant anything to them. Because they don't emotionally attach, they don't connect. It's just all about themselves. And you're just someone that they take from. There's no feelings involved. They don't really care about you. They see you as an object. They can't pair bond. Connect. They can't be intimately involved with you or anyone else. It's just all about what they can get from people. And that's how it's so easy for them to disappear like you never even existed. But don't take it personally. That's just a result of their own mental disorder. It's not define your worth. You are worth so much more than that. Yeah, give the video a thumbs up if you found it helpful. Only thought recommended it, maybe because of the signal. Give it a thumbs up. Let's try and get this video out there. I don't think the signal is that bad, but hopefully it will be better the next few days when I go to a different location. So yeah, give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to support the channel, you can donate by going to my PayPal. I appreciate all donations, no matter how small. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. I read your comments every day. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Click all notifications to be notified when I upload a new video or live again. If you'd like to book a one-on-one coaching session with me, just go to my website. It's narcsurvivor.co. And follow me on Instagram. I just uploaded a reel today of me doing a 2.5 meter jump at the City Museum in Fukuoka, Japan. I see Muffin Man just mentioned, is this a fitness channel? The live chat. Looks like we've got a stalker on here. But yeah, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you soon.